We're very grateful to Rep. Nance for sponsoring our piece of priority legislation. House Bill 2492 is really about saving lives in our industry. It's going to require that every state-registered apprenticeship include 2 hours of behavioral health training for your apprentices, and there's also some language in the bill about continuing education for your journey-level workers. We've lost way too many of our brothers and sisters, not from falls or electrocution, but from suicide and overdose. And I mean, I'm talking about iron workers overdosing in Boeing, people being found in porta potties on job sites overdose. I've lost count of how many iron workers that I've known personally who have taken their lives. In 2023, nearly 1,000 construction workers died from job injuries, but over 5 times died by suicide, and 15 times that from overdoses. And that's not a number, that's our people, that's your brothers and sisters. It gives apprentices the tools to spot trouble early and the courage to speak up. So if you see something, say something, right? So if you're on a job and you're an apprentice and you see the person you're working with struggling, it's okay to ask, like, hey, are you okay? This is how we're gonna keep more of our people alive.
Military and law enforcement and construction all have the same, tough it out mentality and just suck it up and just deal with it. It took me 23 years to even speak out loud anything about my past, and it was probably one of the hardest things I had ever done. But when I decided to bring it up, it was at a very tough time, and I was like, hey, I gotta say something. And I'll say it was a weight lifted off my shoulders, and since that point, I've made it kind of a mission of mine to push this issue and try and shed light on the fact that these issues are real and everybody has them, whether they speak them or not, they do. And we need to make an environment where it's more comfortable for people to talk about it. At the Bricklayers, one of the things that we've done is we've founded the Pacific Northwest Construction Hike for Hope, which we hold annually to bring awareness to this. And we also started a peer support group.
We can only have strong unions with strong people, and what makes you strong is more than just brawn. It's how you feel. And so I'm very supportive of all the legislative priorities, and I want to thank you for supporting a priority of mine, which was starting a Boys and Men's Commission for our state to focus on mental health issues, that are affecting a lot of our men. As a woman, I know that I'm not strong unless the men in my community are strong as well, and I feel like there's so many issues that we must address, we must talk about, and we must have policy prescriptions for, and I think the first step would be to start that commission. So I'll keep fighting that fight next year, but just know I'm doing that with you in mind. It's a priority. Without strong mental health and behavioral health care available, and without the ability as a society to have folks stand up, raise your hand and say, I need help, where are we? What are we actually doing? This is a very personal issue for me. I've lost a loved one to suicide, lost my first husband years ago to suicide. And so knowing that, being a widow, knowing what that's like to be on the other side of that loss, that mental health and mental health care protections and availability, it's not just critical for the person in crisis, it's critical for their families as well. And please know that you've got folks inside this building who see you and who hear you.
We have a meeting every Friday morning in my office of people in the Capitol, and we talk about our hopes, our experiences, our challenges, and it doesn't matter if I'm the only person there or if there are 10 people there. It's just that I am always going to be there. That is like the most profound spiritual thing that can happen to you, is when you realize that other people care for you, and all of a sudden now, for me it was a surprise, I care for them. And it is absolutely amazing. We all deserve just to be happy, to have great lives. And recovery for me is what let me have that life. And if it's something you want or something you can pass on to people, that is the most important gift there is.
Who here's lost a friend to overdose? Yeah. How about suicide? Yeah. This is impacting way too many of us. And these are preventable tragedies. We know that when we have the right tools in the right moment, we can make a healthier choice. We know that, and yet for too long the state has not been a real partner in this. That's beginning to change, and it's beginning to change because of you and you showing up and demanding action. Every day that we don't get this right, we are going to lose more of our brothers and our sisters, our friends and colleagues, and that is unacceptable. We need to do more. And when we talk about building a brighter future, we're talking to the folks that are actually making that happen day in and day out, and we deeply appreciate the work that y'all make happen. We've got to better support you, not only in creating those jobs, but supporting the hard workers that make those jobs happen. I love my colleague Chris Stearns sharing on his story and why he cares here. He's recently celebrated 15 years in recovery. Chris Stearns is always a step ahead of me. I recently celebrated 14 years. And, thank you. I've worked construction in the summers, and when you're the junior guy on a team, you do whatever you can to try to contribute. I was not very useful to my crew, but I still got banged up hauling around various 2x4s, swinging tools and my sawzall. And I remember being, at the end of those long days, reaching for a beverage and trying to work through some of the stress and pressure I felt, trying to stay on schedule, trying to stay on budget there. And I know for those of y'all leaning in, doing this hard work day after day, building a career on it, we've got to do more. And my hope is that we stand together every step of this. And I will say, I look to my colleagues here, we care deeply and we want to do the right thing. You're helping us to do that right thing.
While we're inside a building nice and warm, we know that labor's out in our communities building in every kind of weather to make sure that things get done. I thank you for that.
And it takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on your body, your knees, your backs, your shoulders, your hands, and it takes a toll on your relationships.
Because you know what the best antidote to depression is? A good job that supports your family. My grandfather worked at the plywood mill in Astoria, Oregon, and at 57 years old, the mill shut down and moved to Mexico. And I watched what it did to my grandfather, the pride that disappeared from him while he tried to figure out what to do next. We know that when we don't provide jobs, we don't provide dignity to working people. It takes courage to stand up and talk about behavioral health. There's still too much stigma in our society, in our state about it. All of us, every single person here has been through a dark time, a dark moment. And when we talk about it, people around us can help make it through.
In the last 8 years, we have been investing in behavioral health and changing, like real public safety is making sure that people have the care they need when they need it. We have a care facility that was open in Kirkland, and because it was open, when one of my loved ones was having a crisis and tried to take their life, I was able to use laws that were put in place to be able to get them into that facility and out of the emergency room that wasn't prepared to care for him. And he was able to go into that facility and get stabilized and be able to come out and then get a job the next day. That facility didn't exist 3 years ago. And we need to build more of these every day, everywhere, in every part of our state.
Very inspired by the fact that you all come out to discuss this, because for generations this was not even discussed. Mental health was not even discussed. When I see you here, it actually gives me a feeling of why, now I know, now I remember why I'm here. Now I remember the work that I'm doing. So I actually rely on you guys as much as you rely on me.
We need to make sure that we're not just investing in more jobs, but investing in the people that are doing these jobs.
The fact that I was unaware of the disproportionate amount of rates of suicide that you guys are enduring, your friends, your colleagues. If I needed that education, I know my colleagues can too. So what you're doing here right now will save lives.